Are you looking for a way to actually be able to get leads, to invite leads to connect with you? Well, today I am working live again. I've been doing a whole series on this, on a magnet lead that will present my best foot forward, that will invite leads to engage with me for my business based on, and I've got to uncover this full of pages with notes here, based on Alex Hormozzi's $100 million offers. How to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. And if you joined me last time, we were talking about how you can think about actually solving the problem. So first we went through and we wrote down all the problems that our person has. Then we made a list basically turning those problems into solutions. And then I was like, how can I actually solve this for people based on the time that people who need this help are willing to invest with me, because business owners who happen to be my target audience are super busy. So they're not going to want to do like, hey, let's do this 6-week trickle drip email sequence that teaches you this thing. No, they want immediate results. I'm like, what's the fastest amount of time I can do this in? Because like everyone always says, I've heard so many people say this, money loves speed. So if you can get them a result fast, they'll be willing to pay more for it. And even though this is a free offer, they won't even take it. They honestly will just ignore it unless they feel like it can give them so much so fast. And that's a lot of pressure on us, but that's why I'm doing this with you. So let me dive into the document here. So you can see I've also added this note for premium feature, because I was in my group with my mentor yesterday and she's like, hey, I was taking notes from this conference that I was just at, and they said you should always have a premium feature because it gives you an opportunity to get paid to offset whatever expenses you have for promoting or like ads, etc. So I was like, okay, what is a good premium feature that could match this offer, right? They're trying to understand the big problem or the dream outcome they want, right? That's how Alex Hormozi teaches you. Start with the dream outcome, is they can speak confidently about who they help and what problem they solve. So I was like, well, if their offer is broken, then there's no way they can do this no matter what I tell them. So one of the things that I've been studying is offer creation. That's why I'm reading this book. That's why I'm doing this online, because I'm actively working through it, because I want to know what makes an offer succeed, what makes an offer irresistible, because writing copy is great. But a lot of my clients don't even have offers that work. So I can't write for them. I'll be like, okay, well, let's figure out the offer first. So if I can create like a mini course or a master class, etc., then that's based on the offer and getting that right, then they probably will buy it, because they'll be like, oh, well, if my offer isn't the best, then all this stuff that Kristen's teaching me won't work anyway. So that's something that I added. That's a new step. But let's go ahead and dive into creating. I'm going to be writing the actual solutions today, and the solution ideas are based in the red text. So the first thing that I need to do is write the questions for there's 5 questions I'm going to ask them that will give them a sense of their own voice, help them understand what problem they solve, what problem they solve, and how they solve it. That's always, they solve it uniquely, right? That's always important. You need to make sure that when you're working with someone, they know why you're the only one they should hire, that you are the only one who can help them uniquely. That's why it's called a unique selling proposition, a USP, right? The word unique is in it. Then also we need a belief piece so that they feel confident communicating their unique, there's that word again, professional superpower. And as always, if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the chat. I will see them and answer them as we go along. Okay, so we need to write this piece. And I was like thinking about this earlier today. And I realized maybe I need to frame this for myself based on the pieces I know they need. So I went ahead and wrote these questions down here. So I am actually, and I do this a lot. Like if you go into my creation documents, you'll see that I copy and paste the same piece over and over again for each new step of creation, just because that way I have it and I don't have to scroll back and forth because that drives me nuts. And it also wastes time, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to change the color of this to blue. And I'm going to be like solution 1. So I know that that's there. I should go like that. All right, so these are the problems I came up with that I thought. These are the frameworks. These are the things that they need to know. What is the problem they solve? And I want to encourage them to choose the main big problem, because a lot of people will use this area to list every single mini thing that they do because they think more is better. But when you have like 60 seconds to communicate to someone what you do and how you can help them, more is not better, because you won't get out all the information that they need to hear. Remember, copy is about what the listener needs to hear, not about what you feel like you need to say or what you feel like you should say. You have to base everything you do when you communicate as a business owner off of the recipient, off of what they will hear. And that is really important. I cannot stress that enough. So what is the problem they solve? And remember, the big problem, like the big picture. And I would say the easiest way to jump to this would be they need to think about their high ticket offer or recurring offer. And I just did a whole class on this stuff with Steve Larson and Marley Jacks this week. I highly recommend it. I think it was $197. For the value they provided, it was an amazing price. But it's called the YouTube Lead Machine, in case you're interested. So what is the problem they solve? Think about their high ticket offer. You need to think about where your client is starting from when you communicate this. So my high ticket offer, for example, is I ghostwrite books for business owners in order to grow their influence and their visibility, because a book is a great tool. And I don't just write their book for them. I make sure that their offer fits into the book. I make sure that they can get their money back that they spent with me ASAP, and I teach them how to go on podcast and promote themselves and get speaking gigs, etc. Do you need something? I am live. You can ask me though. Mom life.
Do that.
Oh no, don't eat ramen this early. It's 10 o'clock. Go make some toast or something, or have some cereal. Okay, please. Please, for all of your healthy body parts that are trying to grow and expand right now, all right? No ramen for breakfast.
Did you get like $1,000 or something?
No, not yet. I dropped one yesterday. So I'm at $9.98. He's asking me about TikTok because they're waiting for me to be able to go live, because they're encouraging children and they support their mother's dreams. So if you're on TikTok, Literary Symmetry, that's me. And I would love 2 more followers so I can start going live on there, because I can just prop my phone up next to my camera and be live. All right, can you close it, please, bud? Thank you. Love you so much. Okay, so where were we? So they need to think about their high ticket offer, and you need to think about where your client is starting from when you communicate this. I was talking about how my high ticket offer is the book, right? And creating visibility. And the whole reason I do that is because that's what's going to take my clients to the next step of growth in their business. So like for me, I'm going to write an example. And I always give examples in these types of classes because I know that it helps with retention, it helps with understanding, and you should do that when you talk to your people too. If you have like an extended time to talk, you should always have some stories and some examples in your pocket that you can use to help them understand why they need your help. So the example is help business owners level up through consistency and visibility. So that's one of the things that I'm teaching in this class, right? I'm teaching them how to communicate what they say so that they're consistent, because it doesn't matter how much visibility you have if you're not consistent, because you won't draw the right people in or they won't stay in your circle. So that's something that I've changed recently in my business model, that I'm working on: consistency and visibility, because without consistency, visibility doesn't even matter. So yeah, that was a big aha moment I had this week while I was doing the YouTube lead machine live with Marley and Steve. So help business owners level up. So what is the most important thing that you solve for your client? So that is, I only have 5 questions, so this is hard. I made it hard for myself. But also, they probably need to ask themselves, what is the biggest pain your client is in right now, and what do they think they need to do to solve it? Because, like, right, I just told you, I gave you a big moment of clarity, hopefully, for your business, where I said, if you're not consistent, the visibility won't matter. But so your response is not going to be like, if you come to me and you're like, Kristen, I'm ready to take my business to the next level, the first thing that you're probably going to assume that we need to do is make all this massive content to create action. And actually, I'm going to be like, no, let's not create content right now until we get your messaging all consistent, so that when you write, you're informed from that messaging. Because if you don't have consistency, you won't have visibility. And you'll probably feel like, oh no. So what is it that the person thinks they need? And so they need a proven method for accelerated growth. Like for my example, and I'm just going to put example every time I do that. My client thinks they need a proven system for accelerated growth as they enter the next level. I don't want to use growth twice. You'll notice, like, I do this. I just sit there and I think for a minute. And if you go through your stuff and you're like, that growth, it actually kind of shuts off the understanding and learning part of your brain when there's repetition, because your brain's like, I already know that. I don't need to pay attention. And that's why copy editors and like fiction writers, that's why we get so finicky about word choice, because we don't want your brain to shut off. We want you to hear what we're saying. And for copy, it's just as important, if not more important, than it would be in fiction. So my clients think they need a proven system for accelerated growth as they enter the next level. I gotta maybe reframe this. And we call it recasting in the editing world, in case you're interested. I will always give you little fun editing tidbits, even though I'm not editing full-time anymore. My clients as they attempt to move up the ladder in their professional, in their business services. I don't know. I'll just put that in a parentheses. Come back to that. Sometimes you can't work it out. You need to like keep moving forward and then come back to it, and your brain will be like, oh, this is the right solution. So don't ever feel like I'm getting stuck on this one thing. Just keep going. You can always edit, right? Okay, my client thinks they need a proven system, and I'm getting, these ones are lost. So I'm gonna actually make these, green is hard to see. Purple. Purple is amazing. My computer's purple. And then here, I can make these purple too. So my client thinks, okay, so I have to be able to ask these questions on my video, and I'm going to have like a sheet that I create I don't know if I'm gonna do that live because you guys would probably be super bored watching me do graphic design. But I'm gonna create a PDF they can print out, and I always do this. I don't just create a PDF they can print out. I create a companion Google Doc that they can copy and fill out online if they want to type. Because some people don't want to use paper; they're very conscious of it. Some people prefer the feeling of typing; it creates better retention for them. So I always want to give them both options. And it's not that difficult either. Like I'm creating this in a Word document, so I'm going to copy it and just be able to paste it into a Google Doc, right? So I have 2 questions already for the first one, which doesn't even answer this question. Maybe we should start with that. Maybe we should go back and start with that. Give them a sense of their own voice. If your best friend had to describe what you sound like, what words you, oh, there shouldn't be a comma there, words you use, the adjectives. This is getting messy, but real life is messy, so let's just dive into it. If your best friend had to describe what you sound like, what words you use, how would they, we don't want to use describe again. Let's just say, what would they say? What would they say? And then I'm going to do a description here to help them answer, because sometimes people see the question, they're like, I don't know. You can always add more to help them get the quick win. I do this constantly with my clients when we're doing like the story vault or we're doing messaging reports, because the story vault is 3 pages of questions. It's really short, but they still get stuck. So I'll be like, hey, my one client said this in response. They'll be like, oh yeah, okay. Or I do this sometimes. And they're like, oh yes, thank you. Or in the in the messaging report, that's quite a few questions. I won't even tell you how many because I don't want you to be scared. But they might get stuck, and I'm like, okay, well, let's come back to it. Or I'll be like, hey, what about this? Like, and just give them a personal example or remind them of something they said before. So the point I'm trying to make, not as concisely as I'd love, is you need to set them up to succeed by giving them extra information sometimes. And I'll frame it this way when I'm working with a client. I'm like, I'm going to read a question, but don't answer right away, because after I read the question, I'm going to give you a few hints that will help you answer. And they're like, oh, okay. And they first look at me like, what is she doing? And then I do it and they're all, oh, I get it. I get it. Because without the hints, maybe the question would be too hard. And I've tested it enough to know this question absolutely needs hints. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Hotness Unleasher show with Trevor. My friend Neela is going to be on there today, and she's amazing. I've worked with her in the past, and she's just like a professional superstar. So I'm definitely not going to go into their show because I'm going to go watch their show and cheer her on. But if you're interested in that, actually, let me grab a link. Oh, someone on Twitch. Oh my gosh. They're insulting my glasses. Look here. Did you lose a bet and had to wear those glasses? But Mr. Dead Ghost, Miss Dead Ghost, non-binary pal Dead Ghost, I just want to tell you, you are my first Twitch comment. So I am super excited. And I love these glasses. They're actually my favorite pair ever. And that's probably why I wear them a little bit more than I wear my other pairs. So thanks for the engagement. Woo! All right, I was going to grab that link for all of you friends. Linked. Oh, I'm not. Give me 1 second. It's worth it. It's going to be worth it because Trevor is super amazing. And oh, someone posted a link to it already. Here we go. So I'm just going to post this fun little thing here so that you can go to it. It's a really long link. I'm sorry. I don't know what the deal is for LinkedIn, but there's the link, y'all. Okay, so we were talking about how to oh yeah, we're talking about adding things at the end so that we can clarify questions for the people that we need to understand what we're teaching them so they'll want to work with us. That's the whole point of a magnet lead, right? We show them we can help by giving them something for free. They do the thing, they get the result, and they're like, oh my gosh, this person is the person to help. Yay! Okay. So if your best friend had to describe what you sound like, what words you use, what would they say? Make sure to use plenty of adjectives. And if you need help, feel free to ask your person how they would answer this question. I'm going to put friend. That was a Grey's Anatomy reference, although I am not a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. Please don't hate me. So this is going to be the question that frames their voice for them. And I'm going to answer it live for myself to give them an example. Answer live for yourself to give an example of what a helpful answer sounds like. And I guess I can just answer this here for you. So I would say my messaging is optimistic, empathetic, fun, energetic, because I can't help myself, informed, not pessimistic. I know I said optimistic, but some also there's lots of words I wouldn't use and words you wouldn't use. And this is like getting into a paragraph long question here, but that's okay. Like I was like, I get 5 questions, and if the questions are a little bit long and super specific, that's fine with me. I didn't promise them anything other than that. So this question number 1, that helps give them a sense of their own voice, is done. Now we need to help them understand what problem they solve and how they solve it uniquely. And this, I'm going to actually move here. You can see, like, Kristen, can you read this document later? Yes, I promise I can. That's why I do it this way. And actually, though, I'm going to bold and underline this because that will help me out. All right. So, and this, I'm actually going to add a note, is the 5 questions for PDF and Google Doc. And you know what's really fun is after this, you're going to be able to go through this class in 30 minutes and you'll be able to get this for yourself, but also now you know how I did it in the background. A lot of being a business owner is understanding content creation and building out these systems, right? This is going to be the second piece of my funnel. The first piece is going to be my social media posts, my YouTube videos, anywhere where I'm talking and I talk a bunch, and then I'm like, hey, do you want me to help you this? Go do this thing for free. And then, you know, also, of course, I have the Is My Offer Broken premium to add on. So answer live for yourself. Okay. All right. So I did that one, and then I'm going to change the color of this because this is not actually, I'm going to change it to automatic. Think about their high traffic offer. So what is the most important? And we're just going to be more specific. Anytime you have the word thing, you can probably be more specific. What is the most important problem that you solve for your client? And then the follow-up question, what is the biggest pain your client is in right now? And what do they think they need to solve it? Because if you can't answer that question before you answer this one, you're in trouble. But you as a business owner need to think about this question first. So I'm going to add myself a little note. Explain that you need to answer, this is question 3, technically. Question 3 first for the client, but you need to think about question 2 first for yourself. Okay, and I'm going to change this to be automatic as well. All right. So now I've got these 2. How do you show up and create the solution? We might, what is your solution to their big problem, and how do you get it for them? I know it's like 2 questions in one, but I only have 5 questions, right? So I've got to combine them where I can. And that answers this. And then we need, so we have 4. Oh no, we have 4 questions. And I'm going to do a twofer. Why should they trust you to solve this problem for them? And I'm going to include the how are you going to sell question. And why do you believe you can do this question, which is the belief piece, which is hard without actually having them do a written exercise. But I could include it under the question on the PDF. Normally what we do is we have you write like, the things I feel, I can't do this because blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, okay, reframe that into actual truth because you're lying to yourself. Because you're actually an awesome person. You need to believe yourself and be like, I'm still learning and that's okay. I know how to fix this because I spent years doing this. I can help them get a win with this. Like you just counter every single negative thing. And then you rip it in half and you throw away or burn or cut up or whatever. You destroy the lie side. And I've had to do this with authors as well, not just business owners. And I've had to do this myself when I was starting out. And actually, if you want to read a fun story about a time when I physically ran away from a potential client, that's in my LinkedIn newsletter for today. So go check that out. It's called Your Business Story, and it's through my LinkedIn profile. All right, so we have all 5 questions. Yay! Good job. Good job, friends. That's the first part of the magnet lead. Okay, and then we're going to do the rest of the solutions are here. And this is going to be in the video masterclass. Okay. All right. This is going to, I have to fit this into 30 minutes of teaching. Can she do it? I feel like probably. How many solutions are here? Then let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are solutions 2 through 6. 2 through 6. And what did I do? I think I did this. Let me just look up what I did. Okay. And then I typed, I have to ask the questions. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to ask the questions and then 20 minutes teaching. No PDF. If you're like, Kristen, I don't know if you can do it because you're taking all this time to explain it to me right now. And I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll do it. Okay. So let's look at this. And remember the things that we're teaching are actually in purple. How to explain what to do in a compelling and authentic way in just 2 minutes without others losing interest. So we're going to talk about, is this part of the other one? What is the solution here? Learn to articulate. Okay. Well, okay, no. So what I'm going to do in this part is now that they have the answers to their questions, I'm going to help them. Now that they have the answers to the questions, I'm going to help them string together some words based on their big picture solution and the thing their audience thinks they need help with. Because remember, you have to meet them where they're at. You can't just be like, you don't even know what you need fixed. That won't get you any sales at all. So, all right, the next is increase your confidence instantly. And this is the mindset work. It will always be valuable. Let's see, my experience is based on what I've learned in real life, and it will always be valuable to people who are struggling. Yeah, and I think I'm actually going to turn this purple because that's part of it. I'm going to add that you only really need to be one step ahead of the person you're serving. You have the proven framework. They need to understand how to do it and how to make connections and get results. I'm not going to say make connections. And how to get results through it. And you can help them with that. It's not that, I mean, it's like a lot less intimidating when you think about it that way. Okay, learn to conquer the fear of rejection. It's good and healthy for you to say no when you feel like something isn't a good fit. The same is true for your prospects. I don't like using that word. For your potential clients too. So that is something you can remind yourself of. But also, when they say no, it's good for you if they're, oh, yeah, no, that's right. If they're scared, won't take action, don't actually have a safe way to pay you. Loan sharks are too sharky. No matter how great your results are. A lot of people will use high pressure sales tactics to try to get someone to take out a loan to pay them. I really am against this. I don't think it's a good idea for most people. I think if you need the money, go find a quick way to make it, right? Like go figure out, hey, like ask someone, hey, can I do this for you for like $200 and then do that however many times you need to, but don't put your house, don't put your car, don't put your family in danger to try to pay for something. Like if I'm working with someone, I'm like, hey, this is my high ticket thing. And they're like, oh, I can't afford that. One thing I'll do is I'll be like, what if we break it down into payments, right? Because I know not everyone can pay like giant chunks, but I like, if they don't have the money, I'm never going to tell them, go get a loan. Why don't you call and get the credit rate, the credit limit raised on all your credits? No, I don't like that. And I would never advise you to do that either. So this is, that was a tangent based on the loan sharks, but you want the people who are going to work with you to actually be able to work with you and get the results. And if they don't have the money or they're scared or they are just lazy, honestly, then it's not going to happen. So I'm going to talk about that. Discover how to build your business story so you can have fast, compelling. Okay, coach them on how to ask follow-up questions based on what the other person has said to create. Okay, so this is a hard thing to teach, actually, in such a short amount of time. The best way is going to be giving examples that teach them what kinds of questions to listen, what kinds of facts, of facts to listen for so that they can connect based on their own true story and ask follow-up questions. Don't lie to try to fake a connection. That will always backfire. You know, that's like one of those ABC Family Special things where like they're like, oh, I lied, now I have to keep up this lie, and then it blows up in their face by the end of the episode. That's not what you want for your business. Okay, we're almost finished here. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I can actually go write the script and create the PDF and figure out how I want everything to look based on my branding. Okay, let me just finish this. I'm getting ahead of myself. So learn how to tell stories based on past wins you've got. Okay, I'm going to teach quick storytelling framework. Okay, so this needs to have it's red. Your story needs a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning should mimic the feelings the person you're talking to has. The middle should present the problem in an increased risk. And we call this raising the stakes. in fiction. The middle and the end should offer the result of the solution you have. Increase risk and introduce the solution. Ta-da! That's it. It's not that complicated, right? People get so upset when I'm like, your story needs a beginning, a middle, and they just look at me and they're like, this sounds so complicated, Kristen. It's not that complicated. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our time together. I hope you're learning what it takes to start working on getting people in your circle, right? The whole idea is that eventually you won't have to like go out and find people who need your help. They'll naturally find you. Doesn't that sound amazing? Okay? And the only way you can do that is through consistency and visibility, right? And if you need either one of those things, I'm your lady. Book a call with me if you want to work on that together. I'm going to drop my call link right here because that way we can work together if you want to. Boom. So that's going out all over the place. And yeah, I got my first Twitch comment today. Woo! I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. And remember, your business story matters.